stop there, but we can go back to the sentence. With Sora 2, we are jumping straight to what we think may be the GPT 3.5 moment for video. GPT 3.5, of course, spawned ChatGPT. Is this a ChatGPT moment for generative video in your eyes?
So I kind of poo-pooed this statement. Like, it seems awfully audacious to claim that we're going to recreate like one of these seminal moments in all of technological history.
Yep.
And I think that's probably still fair. Like, I'm not sure if anything like in our lifetime will ever quite
It's a
match.
very, very high bar. I think that's worth
Right.
noting. Yes.
Well, so in fairness, though, to this post, it doesn't say we're jumping straight to the Chat GPT moment for video. Even though Sora has gone viral, it's number 3 in the App Store. I think Meta AI is like 125 or something like that, which we'll get to
Poor old
momentarily.
vibes. Yep.
What they did say is the GPT 3.5 moment, and I think that's a distinction that I failed to appreciate when I was writing about this. And it's been a little painful. I almost like did an emergency post yesterday because I'm like, I need to like correct the record here. But I'll have to save it for next week and just
that's what the podcast is for.
Yeah,
Here we are.
I know, but some people don't do both. But so what was the 3.5 moment? So GPT-1 was amazing. And GPT-2 and GPT-2 was, I think, the one that really like sort of caught my eye. And then GPT-3 is like, wow, it's actually like making sense for a while. And then it would sort of trail off into nothingness after a couple of paragraphs. And the difference is no one was paying attention at that time, right?
Yeah.
Like people who were watching were very impressed, but it wasn't a phenomena like by the time Sora comes out, oh, Sora is coming from the company that made ChatGPT. And so it was a huge deal. And in that context, it's like, it's impressive, but there's a lot of problems here, a lot of issues. And frankly, you know, as we've discussed, Google sort of blew them out of the water with Veo,
Veo
2, Veo 3, Veo, whatever it's called. And so backing up, in that context, Sora was like the GPT-1 or even GPT-2, if you sort of want to be generous. It's showing emergent capability that is going to be a big deal, but is not really useful yet.
Yeah.
GPT 3.5 was useful. Like, now there were lots of issues with ChatGPT when it launched. It launched with GPT 3.5, but it was still incredibly impressive. And it was impressive in that it hallucinated way more than it does now. It got, you know, it wasn't nearly comparable to GPT today, but it was good enough, and it was a finished thought. Like you got a cogent essay in response to a question with a beginning, a middle, and an end that sort of all made sense. And it was, because of that, consumable and impressive to people in a way that GPT-2, even GPT-3 weren't quite there. That, if that is the framing that they were going for here, and again, I should give them more credit and read their words closely instead of thinking about ChatGPT, which I was when I sort of critiqued this sentence, then yeah, that's a fair way to characterize what we got with Sora 2. It's a finished thought. You can create 8-second videos or however long they are that hold together, that are impressive. And this is one of my learnings from this week, is something I need to be on guard on looking at these products, is because I'm immersed in this and looking at everything, I probably consistently underrate what's going to be a big deal and what isn't, because I'm not surprised by Sora 2's capabilities.
The capabilities, yeah.
What I've seen in other people using it is it's blowing their socks off, right? And I'm like, well, this is, you know, I've been using like Google Veo, for example. Like I've been making videos. Like, I'm not surprised they can do this. There's some new things here that other ones aren't doing, but people who are not tracking it closely, they download this app and it's like, holy cow. And this happened actually in January with DeepSeek. What happened with DeepSeek, there's lots of things that are interesting about the DeepSeek moment, but up to that date, OpenAI had thinking models where instead of just spurting out an answer, it stopped and it thought about it and gave you a much better answer. all the thinking models were only available to paying customers. So a lot of free users, their first experience with a thinking model was actually DeepSeek. And so it wasn't just that the novelty of it being a Chinese app, they actually got a remarkably better experience when they downloaded this app, and it had very cutesy sort of telling you what it was thinking about and be like, oh, look at the model's thinking, or the AI is trying to figure it out. Which,
like, wow,
for anyone
AI
who
can do this. Right.
And so one of the, I've been like, I'm thinking about like how to talk about this, write about this. And I really feel there's an angle here, which is the new emerging blind spots for me with AI. And one of them is this. It's like underestimating, just because you can fast forward and see, okay, this is going to happen. Most people aren't thinking about that. And when it lands, don't underestimate what a big deal it is to drop sort of a finished product. And now, is Sora 2 finished? No, but it's sufficiently finished to be something meaningful. And that, like GPT 3.5 was. So actually, this sentence is very accurate.
Yeah. Well, and for people who haven't seen any of the Sora videos, I wrote down a sample of my Sora feed as of Thursday afternoon. One video was Ronald McDonald in a hamburger car in a high-speed police chase on the 110 in LA.
I saw that one.
That was Martin Luther King Jr. saying, I have a dream that Xbox Game Pass was still $20. There was a video, the movie Interstellar, rendered with Minecraft animation. Another was Sam Altman acting in a movie where he says, we were never OpenAI. Welcome to closed AI. And then there was Jesus Christ himself live streaming, walking on water and turning the ocean water to wine. And right before we came on to record, someone sent me a Sora clip of scenes from the movie Oppenheimer, except the characters are all SpongeBob characters. Feels pretty stupid to read all that aloud, but the slop era is here, Ben. No, we're all just sidling up to the trough.
We're into learning number 2. I personally do not find the Sora feed very compelling. I find the Jesus ones actually particularly annoying. I get a ton of them for some reason. Like I don't know. I don't like the guy. I did like the Ronald McDonald police chase one. That one made me amused.
It elicited a half smile from me as I was reviewing it before the episode here.
But we talk about on this podcast all the time that I am the weirdo when it comes to entertainment choices, right? I'm not the one that's watching a gazillion shows on TV, even the good ones. I'm pretty disciplined. I enjoy, I will treat myself on like after a long week on a Friday night to an hour of Reels time, but it is so like addictive that like I don't like to try to get in too deep. I try to not spend too much time there.
Put the phone down Twitter for the next like 12 to 18 hours.
The text sort of thing. I do have a note on Twitter, by the way, and phone usage that we should maybe come back to.
Eagerly awaiting that later in the episode.
So it is probably whatever I'm interested in is probably not what is going to be broadly popular. And whatever I'm not interested in might actually be popular. Like, and I sort of know that. I've known that for years.
Yeah.
And it's maybe useful to be reminded of that sometimes. I still like Vibes better than Sora. Like, I find it sort of like inspirational, interesting. I like these futuristic environments. I also liked Midjourney and like the Discord. Now, the Discord thing was a big blocker. I never actually went there because it was such a pain to use Discord. But this sort of like ethereal, sort of like completely different world. But I think one of the, Gruber related, I think someone called like Vibes feels like a screensaver. You know what I love?
Screensavers.
The Apple TV Ariel screensaver where
I
it's
don't
like
mind
the
that
drone
either.
shots flying around. I will watch it for a while. Like, I find it very calming and a real wake-up call, honestly. Like, this is an issue that I knew, but I'm not.
Thanks to millions of people who have been using these generative AI video products, Ben has realized or remembered that he's a weirdo in the midst of the crowd there. I mean, I think I have a few takes on what's happening, and the
I need your takes. You're the
ChatGPT
resident
parallels.
normie. I need to be educated by you,
Well,
please.
and I have to guard against my own hater impulses on some of this stuff. But I think this probably is a technical breakthrough on par with what we saw with ChatGPT. I'm pretty blown away by the quality of these videos. And maybe that makes me the normie who would have been blown away by DeepSeek if I wasn't already subscribing to the advanced models. But like opening up the app, A, it's really easy to use and intuitive. And B, the quality is pretty high and pretty impressive. And it's photorealistic videos for the most part, which I gravitate toward as opposed to the Mid-Journey aesthetic and the kind of ethereal, dreamlike quality that you get with some of the other AI content, particularly Vibes. And the virality that I've experienced in my personal life over the last couple of days since Sora launched, including with a few people who I would put in the normie category. They're not like early adopter tech obsessives texting me about how crazy this app is. That is much closer to ChatGPT than anything in AI that I've experienced over the last 2 years. So there's some real momentum. Where I pump the brakes on the ChatGPT comparison, though, is just a total absence of utility beyond entertainment. Like ChatGPT, I use it every day for household stuff, asking about different projects I'm doing around the house, or asking questions about toddlers or whatnot. The Sora app, I can't use it, and maybe this is just me. I find myself wanting to bail after looking at it for like 90 seconds. I can't imagine getting lost in Sora for 30 minutes, 2 hours, whatever it may be. We have a friend who did that last night and was up till 2 or 3 a.m. on Sora. So clearly some people can do that, but I'm struck by how useless it appears now. I'm not saying it's going to always be useless, but I do think that's an important distinction from what we saw with ChatGPT, where it wasn't just a parlor trick. People immediately found it easy to use and helpful in their daily life. I'm not sure where the path is for Sora to become that kind of tool for people in addition to entertainment. Does that make sense?
Well, I have 4 responses to what you dropped.
Okay.
Number 1, I do think the bit that I mentioned with about Vibes, about it being an all AI feed, I think that take is still right. Like there's a bit where you mentioned you like that it's photorealistic and real world. You're also like going in cognitively aware this is all fake, which lets you just sort of enjoy it instead of trying to parse video by video. Is this real or is this fake? So that's sort of, so I think that part of the take is still correct. Sort of number 1. Number 2, I agree. It's super easy to make. This is really impressive. It's so much easier than VO, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Like it just making videos is super easy.
And by the way, that was what was cool about it for me. I was aware of VO 3, and I was aware of Meta Vibes, but this is just like, it's, if nothing else, it's a testament to what a great product company OpenAI is. I mean,
that is my exact take. And not just a great product company, but they've done it again. To your point about being viral, so it was like, so they did it with ChatGPT. Obviously, they had the Studio Ghibli moment with their image generation. They have this moment right here with Sora, clearly going viral. That like 3 times is worth keeping track of. This isn't a thing that happened once, and that is notable, and I think it important, and I think something that we'll circle back to. The bit about being a good product company being easy to make, I talked about the 99-1 sort of bit where 1% of people create, 9% sort of distribute, and 90% consume. The pushback I would have on you about the question about productivity is twofold. Number 1, everyone always dismisses entertainment-only apps as toys, not interesting, blah, 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 blah. ChatGPT actually helps me get work done. Guess what the most valuable companies do? They entertain you.
Help us shut off our brains.
That is just a reality.
1 minute at a time.
That's right. And so I wouldn't dismiss it on those grounds. I would actually, that would excite me on those grounds. Number 2, they may be undoing that ratio. Like AI actually can possibly making stuff so much easier that
Yep.
1% expands. And if you think about it, even if that 1% just goes to 2%, that's a doubling. That's a doubling of the people making compelling content. And I think on Sora, there's a good chance it goes higher than that. We talk about give lip service to, AI will let more people be creators. I'm not sure we fully internalize the implications of that. We're talking about at least a doubling, maybe a tripling, actually maybe like a decilling. What is 10 times? Like what does that mean for the amount of content that's out there, the likelihood of there being some brilliant creator that was limited by the necessity? We were just fitzing around with video before here, right?
Yeah.
Big pain in the ass video is. Like, and to actually, I wrote when the image generation stuff came out, I talked about the separation, the breaking apart of the idea and the substantiation of the idea. And like, that's a really big deal. And it's one of those things where I look at myself, even though I wrote that 3 years ago, and I think that was a very prescient observation on my part.
Yeah.
Did I fully internalize that? Maybe not. So that's sort of that's a pretty big deal. And the implication of these sort of 4 observations is Meta might be in big trouble. And the reason is, at the end of the day, all their power, everything they have, all their ad business, it's all predicated on attention. And if they are consistently, someone else is taking attention. And with TikTok, took a lot of attention, hurt them badly. A lot of people on TikTok just are not on Reels. But at the end of the day, they could ramp that up by shoving it into Instagram.
Yeah.
Can they have 2 problems if this continues to be a big deal. Number 1, their AI just isn't good enough. They can't shove it in. And number 2, does anyone want it shoved into Instagram? I think like I said, I still think the take on AI, a distinct AI feed being cognitively better to consume than a mixed one, remains the case. And it's sort of a very disruptive sort of bit where Sora gets to come in, and one of the questions was it right to launch a new app or shove it into ChatGPT? What I liked about, I think the ChatGPT app right now on the phone is underrated in how it's actually kind of annoying, where sometimes I want to continue a conversation, but you open the app and you're immediately in a new conversation.
Yeah.
But I think that's actually a really good trade-off they make, because the time to get into conversing with ChatGPT is extremely low. And in this case, I think not messing with that, not trying to shove this in, is a good thing from the OpenAI perspective. I understood Meta doing it the opposite way, because they just want people to install the Meta app, which no one has, and to potentially use it. But to pull off and to get the app number 3 in the App Store, by the way, Gemini's still number 1, albeit it's gated by invites. So we'll see sort of what happens there. Like, this is, Meta might be in trouble here. Like, because attention is a precious thing, and the route to recapturing it in this space, they have structural factors working against them.